Welcome to Fact or Fiction, a show where we discuss what made the news this week and whether it was real or not. I'm Suyash Barve, and with me is the always alliterative Jency Jacob from Boom. Hi Jency, how are you?
I'm good, Suyash.
Alright, let's start this week with the story of Pakistani diplomat Maleeha Lodi, who tried to pass off an image of a Gaza teen as a Kashmiri girl wounded by a pellet gun. Jency, a clear case of right image, wrong story. Tell us more.
Yes, and what a gaffe to make at an international forum. As we know that India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj had actually given a scathing speech where she had called Islamabad and Pakistan a nursery of terrorism. Now, it is to this speech that Maleeha Lodi was giving a response. In fact, during the speech, she also said that Swaraj's speech was an orgy of slander against her country. And then she put up this image that we can see in the tweet where you have this victim with shrapnel wounds on her face, which looks like pellet wounds. And she said that this is an injured woman from Kashmir, and this is what India is doing to freedom fighters or those who are seeking freedom in Jammu and Kashmir. It's a constant agenda that Pakistan has. But immediately this image was fact-checked, and it was found that the image is right, but this image is not from Jammu and Kashmir, but it is from Gaza. And this happened when Israeli forces had attacked one of the streets in Gaza. And this is where this woman with all these shrapnel wounds on her face was photographed in 2014.
Right, so let's also be clear, there are pellet attacks in Kashmir. That does happen, and even though this gruesome image is not from there, the story is not wrong.
Yes, we cannot actually say that this doesn't happen, because in Jammu and Kashmir between 2014 to 2017, human rights group Amnesty International said that there were 88 cases where either partial damage to their eyesight or temporary damage. 88 cases have been recorded there. So yes, India has used pellet guns in the past, but definitely this image was not the right one for Pakistan to prove its point.
Right, so that story is definitely a false, unfortunately, thanks to the fake image as well. Of course, it looks like Pakistani diplomats aren't the only ones getting their images mixed up. It looks like anti-Rohingya propaganda is also relying on images that are less than authentic. Jency, this is already a hot button issue, and it looks like a lot of fake fuel is being added to the fire. Tell us
yes,
more.
so we have already been seeing this for the last few weeks, that how there's a complete Rohingya campaign, that is anti-Rohingya campaign, that is going around. Now there's this handle called Shanknath on Twitter. He put out this image of this girl saying she's a 14-year-old girl who's married to a 56-year-old Rohingya Muslim, and they have 2 kids, and probably one of them is the one in the image. And this man also has 6 wives, and he has several other children.
It's a big family.
Yes, but when we looked at this image, we went and did a reverse image search. We looked at various images from where this is being pulled out, and we got a BBC documentary which was shot some time back, in which there was a passing image, a passing video shot of this girl sitting along with this kid, with several other kids in that. And so whoever has taken this image has taken a screenshot of this image, added some text to it. There's no context to this. We went around looking for if there is such information or not, but there is no such information anywhere.
I think what's really amazing is how good the fake news brigade is at creating fictional biographies.
Yes,
it's incredible. The history is rich and woven with such fantastic prose.
Yes, and that's not just it. There's another image that came also about this anti-Rohingya propaganda that we are seeing. This time there is this kid, this handle called IP Patel, a Supreme Court lawyer, Prashant Dumrao. He was in news some time back as well for fake images. He's saying that this image of this girl that you're seeing here on the screen, she is a 12-year-old girl who got pregnant and now recovering at a UN clinic. Now, probably the reason why he said that, because this kid has a protruding stomach. But when we went and searched for images and videos, we found out that this kid has a medical condition, has an unfortunate medical condition of the liver and the spleen, because of which she has this bloated stomach. And she has, she has also made certain, there are videos that have been recorded where various messages have been put out. Her name is Sandy. She has nothing to do with Myanmar. She's from Brazil. When we put out a clarification on this and we called out this lawyer on Twitter, he immediately deleted it without putting out an apology, without clarifying to his vast number of followers that he had put out a fake image.
Well, apologies clearly out of the question. So not from Myanmar, not pregnant,
yes,
from Brazil in fact,
right. That
image is 100% wrong. Alright, now we can't seem to go a single week, sometimes not even a single day, without busting a fake news story about communal violence. And as expected, here we go again. Gen Z, did a Hindu Brahman get attacked by a Muslim mob?
Not at all. In fact, this video which has been put out of this Brahmin man who's been taken along by this mob. Now we don't know. By looking at the video, you can't make out whether they're Muslims, whether they're Hindu. You can't make out their religion, except for the Brahmin man is Hindu man is very visibly. You can make out what his religion is. So as you can see in this video, once this video was put out, there was a lot of outrage saying that, why is a Brahmin man being beaten up like this mercilessly? Who are these people? Have they been arrested? Now this information was sought on Twitter, and the Kolkata police immediately debunked this video and said no, there's no communal angle to this. In fact, this priest, he was caught in a case of molestation, and that's why the locals gathered there, and they came and roughed up this man, and immediately they were taken to the police station. There were FIRs being filed, counter FIRs being filed, and that's the context to this video. There is no communal angle to this video at all.
Once again, an absolutely false story there, but mob justice is wrong anyway, so maybe don't beat up anyone, get captured on camera. Apparently, there's a superhero amongst us. Babu Karail claims that he can predict earthquakes thanks to extrasensory perception, and says a big one is coming before December the 31st of this year. Should we be worried, Jancy Jacob?
Who has been able to predict earthquakes? I don't know. I don't know anyone.
Apparently, he has powers, Jancy.
Yeah, he has
Apparently,
powers.
he has powers.
Yeah, so he has something called as the ESP, that is extrasensory perception. Now, this is the first time I am hearing about it. Frankly speaking, when I was writing this story, I did a lot of research. I went around looking around.
You went down the extrasensory perception rabbit hole.
I decided to use that sixth sense to find out what it is like. And in fact, this man is very interesting, by the way. He's an educated man. He's a physics professor who's been in the news for the last 18 to 20 years in Kerala, because he's been making a lot of claims. He claimed that once he had information at least a month before the entire tsunami happened, and he went and told many of the media channels saying that there's a tsunami going to come. No one took him seriously, and it happened. Now there's no verification of this. Now he sent a letter to the Prime Minister. If you look at the letter, it's full of typos, full of grammatical mistakes, a lot of spelling errors, but we can ignore that. He's not supposed to know English. He's supposed to wow us by his extrasensory powers. And he said that there is a huge earthquake that is a massive earthquake that is going to happen in the Indian Ocean. 11 countries, including India, are going to be impacted, and there is some Shishma storm with speeds of about 120 to 180 kilometers per hour, which is going to come and impact the entire Indian coast. Now, this letter has been going around on all forms of social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Many of them send it to us saying that, can you confirm whether this has happened or not, or whether this is going to happen or not. We say, we cannot confirm whether this will happen or not. But we spoke to the National Center of Seismology, Dr. Gehlot, who is the director there, and he was fuming. He said, this is ridiculous. There are so many such claims are made. Letters are sent to the Prime Minister's office. It comes to us. It comes to my desk. I decide whether to respond to that or not. Why is this man sending out this letter and on social media and creating a panic?
Possibly causing a panic. Yes,
exactly. And in fact, we tried to get in touch with Babu Karail. Couldn't reach him. We spoke to another very famous science journalist, Pallav Bagla, and he also said that there are two things that are very important in predictions, in these kind of predictions: time specificity and also location specificity. If anyone is able to do that and say that exactly at this time, on this day, or probably in the range of days it is going to happen, then you should be taken seriously. But otherwise, we don't have any clarification about, how is he predicting this? What is the science behind it? I tried all his numbers, tried to reach him. He just, refused to respond.
I have a sincere request for our own Malu Nostradamus. We shoot this show out of Mumbai, and we'd like to request you, could you tell us when it's going to rain? Because it's a huge problem for us and a much more pressing concern than an earthquake that may or may not happen before December. Very sincere request. Give us a call or, send us a letter, however you choose to communicate. That story is 100% false,
Yes.
but only because we can't actually verify until December the 31st.
We are
if the
calling it
earthquake
unscientific.
happens. We're calling it unscientific and unverifiable as of now. For our last story, we're going back in time just a bit to ask a very important question. Jency, did someone throw a shoe at Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
So in fact, when this video first came to us, I wondered, how did we miss this story? Or how did the entire media miss this story?
I think, yes.
So, you know, this video, you can't make out anything. You know, suddenly you see this lady being dragged from an auditorium by these security officials and being dragged out.
प्रधानमंत्री की सभा में इस महिला ने ये हंगामा किया है, प्रधानमंत्री के खिलाफ नारेबाजी की है महिला.
So here's the context to it. On March 8th, International Women's Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was at an event in Gandhinagar where he was felicitating all women sarpanchs from across the country. Now there is this lady called Shalini Rajput who had come all the way from UP, and she's also she's also a sarpanch, and she had some grievances, and she was going across to the state government, to the PMO, certain grievances about a village which were not getting addressed, and she decided to actually walk up to the Prime Minister, as if it's so easy to do that, and speak to him about it. But when she tried to do that, and she apparently raised her voice, she raised some slogans, immediately the security officials came in and they dragged her out.
And
now,
rightfully so.
yes, but we wondered, where did this shoe throwing incident come about? Now there are a couple of videos that have been made on YouTube, again fake news, certain VO being added, text being added there, and it is being talked about how the entire media decided to gloss over this story and decided not to show it, but a shoe was thrown. There's not a single visual there about the shoe being thrown. In fact, we have an interview also which ANI, news agency ANI recorded with her, where she's explained why she decided to go across to the Prime Minister and created a security scare, but there is no mention of any shoe being thrown there.
Right, so protest, yes, slogans were raised,
yes,
there was heated conversation perhaps, but no shoes. So that story as well is 100% false. Alright, that brings Fact or Fiction to a close for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Jency.
Thank you, Suyash.
We will see you next week. Bye-bye.